For the gray hat and scarf set, I use this Basic Stitch yarn. It's by Lion brand. It says it's reflective. I have not gone outside to see if it's reflective or shone a flashlight on it or however. It is 88% acrylic, 12% polyester. There's 70 grams in here, 115 yards. It's a medium 4. I used the recommended hook size, which was a 5mm. Colorway is pure platinum. And let's see, I used almost all 3 skeins. I just have this much left. My scarf measures 5.5 wide by 43 inches long, and then I have about a 4-inch fringe that I put on this one. And I blocked just the scarf, not the hat. And Cindy the Crocheter A gifted me this yarn. So thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate it. Now for the tutorial, I use these beautiful purple colors. You're going to see in the tutorial that the color controlling was different than it is in this picture or this portion of the video I'm showing you right now, because I ended up frogging it and then color controlling it a different way. So you'll notice that, but it's the exact same pattern. Okay, so what I used was the Craft Smart Value Ombre. This is it here. And it's 100% acrylic. There are 120 grams per ball, 214 yards. This colorway is Purple Ombre. I believe did I say it's a medium 4? You need a medium 4 for this. The recommended hook size is 5.5mm, and that is what I used. And I used, because I tried to color control, I actually used 2 of these skeins plus another half or more than a half. But 2 skeins should be enough for a hat and scarf, unless you want to try to color control. It started off really well for me. In case you want to try this, it started off really well. And then, you know, I dug out all the dark shades from in here. Didn't bother digging out the rest of this. I did dig out some of the other main colors I was using. So yeah, I ended up running out of that really dark. But that's okay. That's okay. It's kind of, I think it's kind of unique looking. What do you guys think? Yeah, because like half the scarf has this lighter purple in it and the darker purple, and then the other half just has basically the 2 lighter shades of purple. Yeah, so the scarf measures 7 inches wide. I thought it may shrink up as it's working, as you're working it up, and I think I mentioned that in the video, but this one actually did not do that, but the gray one did, and that's why I blocked it. So this one ends up being 7 inches wide, 65 inches long, so that's quite long. So yeah, I think that's all the information. So let's just get started. Okay, now I have all the colors separated because I want to color control. This is the yarn here, the ombre. Okay, so I'm going to start with the light color. Because I like the darker color to be near my face. The lighter color seems to wash me out because I'm very light skinned. All right, so let's get started. We are going to make a magic ring. Okay, this is how I make a magic ring. Make it however you make it. Okay, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make 11 double crochets into that ring. The first chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So we're going to have 12 altogether. So that'll be 2. 3. 4. So make 12 altogether, counting that chain 3 at the beginning. All right, I have my 12, counting that chain 3 at the beginning. So we are going to slip stitch into that top of that chain 3 that we made. Slip stitch into it. You can pull your tail tight to close up your center. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, which will count as a double crochet. We're going to go right into that same stitch with another double crochet. Okay, then we're going to go into every stitch with 2 double crochets all the way around, so then you will have 24 double crochets. Okay, in every stitch do 2 double crochets. Okay, now I'm at the end of row 2, so we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 that we made. But instead of grabbing this yarn that we're using, I'm going to grab my next yarn because I'm going to change colors. So you just grab it, you pull it through like that. So now you're onto your next color. Here, I'll show you this too. What I like to do is cut the color I was using and just tie these 2 together, and I could sew them in later. Nobody's going to notice that knot. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to chain 3 like before. 1, 2, 3. And remember, we put those 2 double crochets in each stitch. Now we're going to do a 1 double crochet, which is that chain 3, and then go the next stitch and put 2 double crochets. And that's going to be our sequence around this round. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the next, and so on. So 1 double crochet in the next, 2 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, and so on. I'll meet you at the end of this round. So that was row 3. We will have 36 stitches, counting that first chain 3 at the beginning, which counts as a double crochet in this case. All right, so we're going to slip a stitch into the top of that chain 3. Okay, now for this row, we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet into that next stitch, and then in the next one, we are going to put 2 double crochets. Okay, so that chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. In the next stitch we have 1 double crochet. In the next stitch we have 2 double crochets. So we're going to do that all the way around this round. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of this round. So that was round 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will have 48 stitches. Okay, 48 stitches, and then you slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, just like you did with the other rounds, right into the top. All right, next round, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go in your next stitch with a double crochet, and then you go in the next one with 1 double crochet, and then you go in the next one with 2 double crochets. This is how this round is going to work. 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And you're going to have a total of 60 double crochets when you're done this row. All right, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Continue that around. I'll meet you at the end of this round. All right, I've completed my 5th round, and I've counted, and I have 60 stitches. So now we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 right there. And now we're going to do our fancy stitch. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to slip stitch again. Okay, slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. All right, so double crochet and double crochet. So now counting that chain 3, we have 3 double crochets. Now we're going to, this stitch we kind of skipped because we just slip stitched over from it. Now, let me show you. This one lines up with this one with this one, this one with this one. So here it is right here. We're going to go back into it. Okay, so this is how we do that. We're going to wrap our yarn around our hook. I like to grab where I want to put the stitch. So right in this top of that double crochet. And then we're going to just go around like this, shove our hook in there, grab our yarn, pull it through that stitch, and then pull it up so it's nice and tight. Wrap our yarn, and then just finish off making a double crochet. That's what it will look like. All right, next one. Now our last double crochet was made into here. If you look at it like this, you can see that. So we're going to skip the next one, and then we're going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet. Go in the next stitch with a double crochet, into the next stitch with a double crochet. Okay, now that one we skipped right here, we're going to wrap our yarn. I'm going to grab it because that's where I want to go. The one that we skipped. Put my hook in there, grab my yarn, pull it through. I have those 3 on the hook, and just finish off like a double crochet. Go through the first 2 loops and through the next 2 loops. Let's do that again. This is the first of a 2 repeat. Okay, so this is where our stitch went into right here. Skip the next stitch, go in the next stitch with a double crochet, and in the next one with a double crochet, and then in the next one with a double crochet. Okay, so we look back to see where that one was we skipped, and it's right there. So I put my finger, one on either side of that stitch, wrap my yarn, go to the front, push through there, grab my yarn, pull through that same space, pull up tight, grab my yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and the second 2 loops, which is just finishing off a double crochet. So this is what our stitching is going to look like. All right, I'll do one more of those. Okay, you can see this is where our stitch went into here. Skip the next stitch, go in the next one with a double crochet, and go in the next one with a double crochet, go in the next one with a double crochet, and then we're going to go into that one that we skipped. Right there, I grab onto it, yarn over, go through that stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, pull up tight, go through under 2 loops, wrap your yarn, go under 2 loops, wrap your yarn, and go under those other 2, so like a double crochet. All right, so continue doing that around this round. Okay, so this is what it will look like all the way around. Isn't that pretty? All the way around. Okay, so I've come to the end of that first fancy stitch row. So what I have left are 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to skip the next one. Like before, we're going to put a double crochet into the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3. Go back into that one we skipped over and go in there with, well, you're going in there with a double crochet actually. Pull up your yarn. Finish off like you did before, like that. And then we're going to go over to the first one we made, that chain 3, and slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. Okay, so that was the first row of the 2-row repeat. So now in this row, we're just going to simply make a chain 3 to start, and then we're going to put a double crochet into each stitch all the way around. Okay, just to each stitch, you'll be able to see where your crochet hook should go into each stitch here all the way around. So you're going to end up with 60 double crochets. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I've counted. I have 60 double crochets all the way around. So I'm going to start you on the next row, which will be this row, which is the first row of the 2-row repeat. This one and this one are the 2-row repeat. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And I'm going to change color here, so just going to hook that on like that. I like to tie it, cut off the other yarn and tie them together. I don't trust that they'll stay like that. I don't know if anybody leaves them like that where they don't. tie them together, but maybe you guys do. I don't know. Tell me if you do. All right, so now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. All right, so we already slip stitched into this one, which is over top of this one. So the next one where my thumb is over is where we will slip stitch into. All right, so now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do that fancy stitch again. So put a double crochet in the next stitch, and then a double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to take a look. This one is over top of that. That's over top of that. This one is technically over top of that one. So pull your stitches so you can find that one we skipped over. Put your hook in there, just like you did before. And finish off with making a double crochet. Skip the next stitch, go in the next one with a double crochet. And then a double crochet. And then another double crochet. Look for that one we skipped, which is right there. Yarn over, go through it, grab from the back, pull it up, and that's your stitch. So then, like I said, this is the 2-row repeat. So I am going to do these rows. Look at this one. Okay, so this is the 2-row repeat I did. Let's count them as a set. 1, 2, 3. 1. Or maybe I'll count them as fancy stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows of those fancy stitches. And then after you've completed the last fancy stitch row, I'll show you what to do next. Make sure you try it on as you're crocheting. Just make sure it's going to fit you. This is not bright red like it shows in the camera here. It's actually, I think, is this the terracotta? I think it is. All right, anyway, I'll meet you when you're done. Your fancy rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows of that fancy row. You have the fancy row, the double crochet. So that's 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, and then just the fancy crochet row, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I've made my 5 fancy rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and make another row of the double crochets that I did after each of the fancy rows. So let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then put double crochets in every stitch all the way around. Make sure you try your hat on before you put the border. I'll be doing the border soon. Okay, because you don't want it too long, you don't want it too short, you don't want it over your eyes, right? You don't want it too high on your forehead. So I'll meet you at the end of this row. All right, I did my row of double crochets. I counted to make sure there's 60, and there is. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and I'm going to change color again. I want this darker color near my face. I thought of working in this light color here and then going to this really dark, but I don't really want that light color. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just I don't like it near my face because it kind of washes me out because I'm so fair-skinned. Okay, so I'm going to cut that one. Tie the ends together and sew them in later. Okay, so this is going to be the start of the border. And I'll be trying it on to see how many rows I'll need. Alright, so we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to do front post double crochets all the way around. So go in behind that double crochet, it's called a post. Pull your yarn behind it and then just make a double crochet. So wrap your yarn, go in behind the double crochet, grab your yarn, pull behind, and then just make a double crochet. Alright, so we're going to do that all the way around. Then I'm going to try it on to see if one row is enough of this stitch, or if I should do another one. So again, when you're finished this row, you'll have 60 front post double crochets. Okay. All right, I'm at the end of the front post double crochet row, and I have slip stitched into that first stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work around to the inside, and then we're going to put front post double crochets around the inside. All right, so this will be your first stitch. So wrap your yarn, go in behind that first stitch there, grab your yarn, pull behind, and then just finish off with a double crochet. Okay, do the next one, do a front post double crochet, front post double crochet, front post double crochet. So do one all the way around this round. And let me show you the other side. So this is what your hat's going to look like around the border. If you feel you need to pull it in a little bit more to fit more snugly, you could go down a hook size, go down to a 5mm. So this is how it's going to look. It's going to have this little bit of edging just peeking out from that last row. You could also do that in a different color if you choose to. All right, so I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to try it on, and I'll be right back. All right, now I have one more front post double crochet to do here. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that. First one we did there, let me see if I can find it. A little difficult to find that one. Okay. Okay. All right, now I'm going to try it on and see if it fits me. So let's take a look at that. So this is how it will go on your head. That little bit is poking out below. Yeah. All right, it fits. You'll have seen the pictures at the beginning. So then we just cut it off, and we're going to sew in our ends. I'll do that off camera. And so here is the completed hat. Have that little bit of the light color there, and then I went to a little bit darker, went back to this other color, and then finished off with the dark color at the bottom. I really kind of wish I would have started off with this really dark purple at the top, but it's okay. It's okay. All right, now on to the scarf. And now for the scarf, we are going to make a chain that's in multiples of 4. So I'm going to chain 24, and then we need an additional chain. So I'm going to chain 24 plus 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be right back. All right, I have my 24 plus 1. Now, women's scarves are, on the average, as wide as a woman's wrist to the tip of your finger, okay, which is about 6.5 inches. Men's scarves are measured same way, but their hand is usually 7.5 inches. Now, as you work this, it may shrink up a little bit from the stitches, but then once you block it, it's going to be as wide again, if not wider. But yeah, let's just get started. So we have, I chained 24 plus 1, so we go into the second chain here with a single crochet, and we're going to put a single crochet in every chain all the way along. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, you will have 24 single crochets if you're making it this width. Like I said, it needs to be in multiples of 4 plus 1, so you can make it more narrow, you can make it more wide, whatever you desire. Okay, at the end of the row, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work. Now, in that second single crochet, we're going to make a double crochet. And then we're going to skip a stitch, go into the next one with a double crochet. And then we're going to make 2 more double crochets in the next 2 stitches, 1 in each. Okay, so this is what we have. Our chain 3, a double crochet, skip a stitch, and then 3 double crochets in a row. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use that stitch we skipped. So just like for the hat, you're going to yarn over, find that stitch we skipped, go into it. Okay, I think I went off screen, sorry. Okay, go into it with your hook, grab your yarn from behind, pull it through that stitch, pull it up so that it's tight, you don't want it too loose, and then just finish off making a double crochet, like that. So this yarn might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to be changing colors shortly. Alright, so this is where we went into with that last double crochet. So skip this stitch, go into the next one with a double crochet, go into the next one with a double crochet, go in the next one with a double crochet, and then we're going to go back into that stitch there that we skipped. So I like to grab it with my fingers so I know exactly where it is, where I'm going into. Wrap the yarn, go into that stitch, grab your yarn, pull through it, pull up your loops, and then finish off making a double crochet. Okay, skip the next stitch, go into the next one after that with a double crochet, go into the next one with a double crochet, and then go into the next one with a double crochet. Okay, and then again we're going to go back into that stitch we skipped. With a double crochet, just like before, pull it up nice and tight, and then finish off making a double crochet. Skip the next stitch, make your 3 double crochets in a row. This is the first row of a 2-row repeat. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to that stitch we skipped, go into it with a double crochet. It gets easier as you go along, as you have more to grab onto. Okay, and then make your double crochet. All right, so skip the next one, go in the next one with double crochet, and then another double crochet, and then another double crochet, and you will have 2 stitches left. I'll show you what to do with those. Okay, we're going to wrap our yarn, go into that stitch we skipped, grab your yarn, pull it through, pull your loops up tight, finish off making your double crochet. All right, so for those 2 stitches that are left, we're going to make a double crochet in each one. Double crochet in that one, and then a double crochet in the very last one. Okay, so that is what your stitch looks like. So the next row, which is the second row of the 2-row repeat, we're going to chain 3, turn our work into that first double crochet. We're going to put a double crochet. And then where we did this little fancy design, or a little cluster here, or a little set, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, we're going to put a double crochet on top of each of those 4 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep doing that all the way along. Put a double crochet onto the top of each of those 4 stitches, and then we're going to end up with 24 double crochets. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm almost at the end of this row. So we have 2 stitches left. I'm going to put a double crochet on top of those. And that chain counts, chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So put a double crochet right on the top of that chain 3. All right, so now I have 24 double crochets. All right, so that's the 2-row repeat. I'm going to change color, and we're going to make the next row. Okay, I'm going to change color here. So actually, I didn't really want to go slip through there because I'm going to change color. So I'll put my hook through those 2 loops there. Hook my yarn on, my new color, and I'm going to cut this other color, tie it together because I don't like, well, you don't have to, but I do. I don't like the anything slipping out, you know. Then I can just sew those ends in later. Okay. I'm gonna get this other yarn out of my way. Okay. So now we're going to repeat this fancy row here and then repeat the double crochet row. All right, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Turn your work around. Put a double crochet in the next double crochet. And then we're going to skip a stitch. Put a double crochet in the next double crochet. A double crochet in the next one, and a double crochet in the next one. Okay, so now we're going to work into that stitch that we skipped, which is right here. You can go across, put your hook in there, grab your yarn, pull up your loops so they're nice and tight, and then finish off your double crochet. Skip a stitch, go in the next one with a double crochet. Go in the next one with a double crochet. And go in the next one with a double crochet. So, same as that other row. Wrap your yarn, go into that stitch that we skipped. Grab your yarn, pull it up tight, and then just finish off making a double crochet. Now, isn't that pretty? Such a simple stitch, but it's so pretty looking. So continue on with this row and then the double crochet row after that, because like I said, this is a 2-row repeat. First row, second row. First row, second row, and keep doing that until you get the length you desire of your scarf. Now, when we're color controlling, we may find that some of the colors don't run along the same length of yarn as other colors in the ball, such as there wasn't a lot of this light color. There wasn't a lot of this really dark color. There was more of this color and this lighter purple. So my scarf does not have those two colors. There wasn't much of running through it at the end, but that's okay. That's okay. So what I've decided to do is, this is what I have left for this really dark color. I want to end the scarf in this color. But first, what I need to do is I need to make a stitch. And what I'm going to do is just make a single crochet along this edge where I started the scarf at. So what I want to do is just take what I have left here before putting that color along the edge, the ending edge. I want to tidy up this edge with just a single crochet row. And then what I have left, I'm going to try to work it on the very finishing end of my scarf. Okay. So let's just do that. Let's just do that. Okay, oh, I want to go through actually 2 stitches. Okay, here we go. Pull it through there. Chain 1. Go back into that same stitch with a single crochet. Actually, it's a chain. And a single crochet, and then go to the next one with a single crochet. Cover your tail if you can, right? So you don't have to sew it in later. Okay, so I'm just going to do that all the way to the end of this row. So there we are with the single crochet. Finishes off that row nicely. So now this is what I have left. And I'm going to go ahead and see what I can get around the other end, which was the end that we were finishing on. I'll be right back. Okay, now so I'm going to change the color to that darker color that I want to end with. Okay, so let's see how far we can get. So, all right, so I'm going to chain 3, like we did before. Turn our work, put a double crochet in the next double crochet, skip 1, and then put a double crochet in the next 3, 1 in each. Go back into that one we skipped, make a double crochet, skip 1, and 3 double crochets. I'm watching my ball to see how much it's shrinking. And then go back to that one we skipped, pull up tight. Continue across. Still watching that ball to see how much it's shrinking. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, here it is. Shrinking, shrinking. Okay. So this is what we call yarn chicken. Let's see if I can win this time. I do win quite often, not to brag or anything. just saying. Okay, the race is on. Are you cheering me on? Go, Darla, go. Go, Darla, go. Woohoo! Am I gonna make it? One more double crochet right into that chain 3 at the end. Okay, well, I made it across this row. And this is what I have left. So I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to try to make a single crochet row. All right, go back into that, go into that first stitch with a single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. All the way across. Are you still cheering me on? I think I'm going to make it. Let's all be hopeful. Without hope, we have nothing. And we don't know if we don't try, right? Okay, getting there, getting there. Oh, here we go. We're going on to the home stretch now. Ooh-wee. So, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? Oh, I made it. I made it. I played yarn chicken and I won. And look, still have some there. All right, so we're just gonna cut this off and we'll sew in our ends later, but that is the edging. I think that looks really good. What do you think? Yay! And you are finished your hat and scarf. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. May I take this opportunity to ask you to please subscribe. Thank you.